What's up, YouTube? So if you're chilling like a rock star villain, you're stuck in quarantine and you want something delicious and filling to make. Well, I'm going to show you cool cobras how to turn an ordinary bowl of ramen noodles into a bomb-ass bowl of ramen noodles. Yeah, real easy. And if you don't like my videos, there's the back button. But if you like the cooking videos, the food hacking and snacking, stick around. Because next food hack, snack, cooking video, whatever you want to call it, my next cooking video, I'll be hacking up a delicious sub sandwich. For sure, for sure. But this time around, we're going to focus on this recipe, and it's going to be delicious. I find that if you're stuck in quarantine, you can find new and creative ways to come up with recipes. Simple enough, you know. Yeah. And maybe 25 minutes or less. Easy enough. Yeah. Now, I want to make this dish big enough so I can munch on it later, because that's how I roll. But I want to show you cool cobras how to make some really tasty ramen noodles. If you're a gluten-free kind of person, whether you're allergic or you just don't get down that way, don't watch. If you're on a diet, don't watch. If you're vegan, don't watch, because spoiler alert, there will be bacon involved with this recipe, and it's going to be delicious. Excuse me. A little bit chilly outside, but exercise is good. Yes, very good. But I think once y'all see how it's done, you may sit there and say, well, that looks tasty, or screw you, Cobra, that looks nasty. That's your choice. I'm not here to force you to stay or not stay, you know. You want to watch this cooking video, then watch it. Some people would argue, well, how is that cooking? If you're using your stovetop or your oven as part of the process of making the final product, technically it still counts as cooking. Shout out to healthy junk food. This is definitely something right up their alley. Ridiculous. And I've been watching the videos they make. The giant Hot Pocket was redunculous, dude. They both look pretty tasty. Well, that one time JP farted when Julia was trying to relax in the hot tub, and the video said don't watch towards the end. I'm like, why does the video say don't watch towards the end in the title? As I was watching that video, JP just rips ass and chuckles, and Julia looks disgusted like, I don't know, like, I get it, farts are funny, but time and a place, bro. I'm not trying to tell anyone anything, just, you know, yeah. But obviously what they have for each other works, otherwise they wouldn't have lasted this long. That's the thing of it, you know. However, SS Sniper Wolf was doing a TikTok food hack review, and people are straight up eating ice cubes with flavored salt on top for TikTok videos, and it's going viral. And I'm like, and they're calling it a snack. And here's the thing of it, flavored ice has been done before, so has ramen noodles, right? But I'm going to show you a way that I would do ramen noodles if I was looking to make them extremely tasty and a bit on the unhealthy side. Yeah. Now, if they make gluten-free ramen noodles, they probably do. I don't know if that's humanly possible, but if you're stuck in quarantine, watch YouTube videos. It keeps you distracted long enough, until you're not completely bored. Also, if you like the food hacking, snacking, subscribe for more. Got the hands washed, you're ready to rock, ready to roll. So we got ourselves a glass bowl. Into our glass bowl, we're going to put 2 packets of beef ramen noodles. Like so. You open it up. You want to see a food hack, food snack, whatever. Okay, let me show you something too. I don't know what these people be doing on TikTok, but the shit people are getting famous for on the internet these days is ridiculous. I'm going to go ahead and dump the seasoned packet into the crushed noodles. Now we're going to repeat that same process with the second packet. Now people think that you have to be some 5-star chef to be a great cook. No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't have to be a 5-star chef to learn how to cook. There's a ton of how-to videos on YouTube. There we are. Dump it in there like that. Beautiful. Get the trash can next to me for easy access. Now we're going to dump that second seasoning packet in there. Just like that. Now before we add our water, we're going to add some more seasoning to it. Not a whole lot because it's already got plenty of seasoning. Just a little bit for flavor. We're going to add some spicy garlic seasoning. And this seasoning is really not that spicy. It's just got a nice little garlic flavor to it. We'll throw a little bit into our ramen here. Okay. And after we throw the garlic seasoning in there, just a little sprinkle of it, we're going to add some water. Alrighty then. Before we put it in the microwave to cook, we're going to do 2 things. One, we're going to walk over to our stove and turn it on to an 8. Get that stove nice and heated up. Now, 2 packets of ramen noodles in a powerful microwave takes 8 minutes. At the 4-minute mark, stop, stir the noodles around. Another 4-minute burst. By the time we get done cooking the ramen noodles, our pre-cooked ingredients should be done, and we can really take these ramen noodles to the next level. We're gonna grab a clean bowl for our pre-cook. Now we're gonna add some beef, some bacon, some cheese, maybe a little bit of butter and some chips to it, if you want, Speaking of chips, and just to save time on the video, I'm not going to add chips to it, but I'm going to plug these Ruffles Flamin' Hot chips. Ruffles have ridges, and yeah, these are a nice, tasty variant. Look how nice and red they are. Not a sponsor. They taste just like Flamin' Hot Cheetos. And then you get this slight tomatoey aftertaste. Very delicious. These are going on My next food hack. I will say that. Mm. All right. So while that pan gets heated up, we're gonna put these ramen noodles in for 4 minutes. Stir them around. Another 4 minutes. Boom. Now, if you follow the step-by-step on how to make these ramen noodles, you can copy this recipe. It's really easy, YouTube. Really easy. Now, this recipe requires 2 strips of bacon and 2 burger patties. So, we're going to grab up some of our beef patties right here. We need 2 of them. There we go. Break them apart. Beautiful. Now, there's already going to be plenty of seasoning on the noodles, but if you want to add a little bit of seasoning to your burger patties, optional. You want to add seasoning to your bacon, optional. So throw a sprinkle of garlic seasoning on the top there. Now I'm going to drop this side first, and then that way the top that doesn't have the seasoning gets it next as soon as I put it in there. Go ahead and drop these in the pan real quick. Lickety split quick. Yeah, there we are. Scoop that one over there. Beautiful. I'm going to hit the top with a little bit of seasoning. Now, after this, I'm not going to season the bacon. It's just not necessary. This will be plenty of flavor for it. Trust me. But we get a close-up of that beef. Ooh, look at that. Yeah, that looks good, doesn't it? It's about to look even better. Ha! Now, once you've cooked up your beef patties, put them in your bowl. Then you take 2 strips of bacon, tear them in half to make 4 smaller pieces. Fry the bacon up, get the bacon fully cooked, and then we can move on to our next step. Right now we're focusing on getting the noodles done and getting this recipe popping. Recipe popping, he says. Speaking of popping, we got Mountain Dew Throwback. Not a sponsor. Now, you've seen me cook burgers on my channel before. You know how to do that by now if you follow the videos. You want a medium rare to fully cooked for sanitary reasons. I'm watching that microwave. Alright, just about ready to flip these burger patties here. This burger's got a nice start to them. Beautiful. It's a pretty straightforward recipe. You cook up some burger beef, cook up some bacon, cook up some ramen. By the end of this, you may think to yourself, Cobra, that just looks unhealthy. Honestly, you could do worse if you're stuck in quarantine, couldn't you? And grab a clean fork and we're going to stir it around. Hit it with another 4 minutes. all that. Then after that, the noodles will be semi-done. They'll be fully cooked and ready for the next step. So stick around for that because that's going to be tasty. While our noodles go on the second burst, that second burst will fully cook the noodles so we can get the next step ready. And while it's doing that, we'll come back over to our pan. Give these burgers another flip. You're stuck in quarantine, you're like, what are we going to do? Get inspired to cook. If you're stuck in quarantine watching YouTube videos, you can brush up on your cooking skills by watching how-to videos. We have our clean bowl here. The cooked burger patties and the cooked bacon will go in here for assembly later on in the recipe. Now that bowl is going to be piping hot when it gets out of the microwave. The next step you're going to want to do is take your ramen noodles out of the microwave when they're done cooking and drain the broth. You'll see why here in a minute. If you want to keep a little bit of broth at the bottom for flavoring, totally optional. Nice thing about ramen noodles, they're cheap. Very cheap and easiest to make. Easy to make and they're cheap. And they taste good too. Non-sponsored. That burger patty's done. Let's keep that one at the center there. You definitely want to keep a towel handy. If you get grease splatter all over your stove, you can hit it real quick and wipe it up best you can while it's still hot before you need actual oven cleaner. But that's the fun of cooking, I suppose. You make a mess. Give that burger patty another flip. These burger patties are looking just about done. Now, right now on the bottom of that pan, we have burger grease. We're going to use that for frying up our bacon. It's going to be delicious. Those patties are done. I'll go over to our microwave and open it real quick. Then I'll let that cool off for a second. While the noodles cool off, we'll get our bacon situated. Open the door so it doesn't beep at us like, hey asshole, the noodles are done. Almost. Alright, so we got ourselves 2 strips of thick cut bacon, and we're going to tear them in half, make 4 smaller pieces, and we're going to just put them in the pan right there. Beautiful. And that bacon's gonna fry up in the burger grease with delicious, tasty ease. Yes, please. And you know, I'm gonna have to give you a close-up of that bacon action. I'm gonna wash my hands real quick, though. Now that bacon's gonna toast and fry up in that burger grease for extra flavor. This is why I said you really don't need seasoning for your bacon if you're cooking it in burger grease. That's already been seasoned on the burger patties, you know. Your burger patties are already seasoned, and that seasoning is going to be in your grease. See, that's just enough flavor to say, oh, that's naughty. I should not be eating this food, but not, you know, it might be a bit rich for some, I guess. It just depends on your taste, but really, this is what I promised the fans. They're like, I want to see you hack the ramen noodles. You have a separate fork. One side holds, when your bacon likes to curl up, you take the fork and push one side down and the spatula down on the other side and hold it to the pan for a second. It straightens your bacon right out. And obviously I'm going to use a separate fork for this because, yeah. I'll get the bacon fully cooked before we address the ramen noodles and move on to our next step. Alright, so we got the fork right over here for our ramen. And then we got the fork over here and the spatula for our bacon. Look at that sizzle action, people. Delicious. Now this bacon right here is looking pretty good. Not too crispy, not too chewy. However, it needs to be cooked a little bit longer on this side because we don't want that right there. But, you know, right there you go. See, now this piece right here is looking good. Let it drain off of the pan before we transfer it. And see, when we flip it, you can tell that bacon's cooked. Go over here, check this piece. This piece looks good. Not too crispy, not too chewy. Let the grease drain off. Transfer it over here. There we go. See now how that end right there is not all white? When you're cooking bacon, you want it to be cooked all the way through, just like that little, yeah. I could go a little bit longer, honestly. Just a little bit longer. You definitely do not want to undercook your bacon. That's bad. Yeah, there we go. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. Drop that piece in there as well. Now this piece needs to be cooked up. The last one. See, if you want to prevent it from curling up, the spatula goes on this side and that fork goes on the other side. And you hold it down. Oops, see, now I gotta grab a different spatula because that one's, yeah, I accidentally dropped it. So in the sink it goes. Unpredictable as always. Luckily we have a fresh one in the drawer. But that's alright. Mistakes happen, that's part of cooking, unfortunately. Alright, so with our clean spatula, we're going to hold one side down and the fork the other side down. It flattens the bacon out and the heat stretches it out so it gets more elasticy to an extent. And then the heat stretches it out basically and cooks it. This is a little food hack trick to keep your bacon from curling up. And you don't have to do it for very long, you notice, and put this fork in the sink as well. Give it a flip. Yeah, that piece is done. That's cooked all the way through just like I showed you beforehand. Beautiful. Ooh. This will make for a very nice ramen noodle topping for sure. I'll bring that stove down to a simmer for a second. Switch burners. And then go and just turn the stove off because we don't need the stove for this portion of it. Definitely make a little bit of grease splash. I mean, when you're cooking bacon and beef, you're going to get little droplets of grease here and there, you know. Alright. Now, we'll take our pre-cooked ingredients, like our bacon and our beef. Here's the other fork we had for stirring our ramen, a separate one we had. Alright, now we're going to walk over to our ramen noodles. I gave the ramen noodles plenty of time to cool off. They're still pretty warm. Hold on, let me crack a window. Got a little bacon and burger goodness. Alright, so now we're going to take our mixing fork that we use for our ramen, and we're going to hold the fork over the noodles like that, and we're going to drain the broth into our sink. Alright, so we got our ramen noodles right here, our beef and bacon right there. I'm going to scooch the camera up a little bit. There we are. Set it to the side a little bit. There we go. Beautiful. Now we're going to set this on the counter over here for a second because we gotta add some deliciousness to this ramen noodle. We're gonna add some deliciousness to it. Now that same mixing fork, we'll take some country crock. And I want to, just a small couple forkfuls to butter them up a bit. Okay, there we go. Excuse me. A little smoky in here from cooking the beef and the bacon. That's why I turned the stove off. Yeah. Excuse me. Excuse me again. Ooh-wee. Now that we got a little bit of butter in there, just because it's my channel, I'm going to take some of that grease from the pan and just pour a little splash of it on top of the butter. There we go. Not all of it. I save a little bit of that grease to cook with. Now that we got that in there, just like that, look at that. That looks delicious, don't it? Now we're going to stir it around. And hopefully the steam from the noodles melts the butter and the grease together. Oh yeah, that's looking and just smelling all kinds of delicious, YouTube. Last time I didn't add butter to it, but I thought, you know, it's YouTube. Let's show these cool cobras how it's done. Oh yeah, I can definitely smell the butter in the noodles. Just the right amount. Beautiful. Now that we got our noodles mixed up into the actual bowl itself, we're going to mix the rest of our ingredients in real quick. Now remember that bowl of beef and bacon that we cooked up earlier? Well, now comes the tastier side of it. We're going to take our bacon and our fully cooked bacon and our fully cooked beef, and we're just going to break it up into chunks. Break it up into chunks. It don't have to be pretty. Don't have to be neat. Just break up that bacon, break up that beef, and then mix it in with these buttery, greasy ramen noodles. Now cooking it into 4 smaller pieces makes it easier to break up. You can add like little chunks to it, you know, and yeah, do it up. Just you dropping that bacon in there. Oh, look at that deliciousness. Now we're going to add some beef to it. And again, just take your beef chunks. I'm going to take our beef patties and turn them up into little tiny bite-sized pieces. A little tongue twister because I've had a little bit of alcohol to drink. I was drinking at a friend's house. Came home and I was like, hey, we need to do a cooking video for YouTube. I haven't done that in a while. We're gonna throw in our beef. Look at that, beautiful. Now we got our second beef patty right here. Now, do we need all the beef in this? Not really, no. I mean, two and a quarter patties, you know, is more than enough. Because this, just try some of that beef by itself. Oh, yeah. That's way good. Now, our prep bowl right here needs to go in the sink. This one is going to stay here. This one we're going to transfer over to our washing station. My hands are a little bit greasy from tearing up the bacon and the beef and putting it in the ramen noodles. So gotta give my hands a quick rinse. Don't really need to wash them after getting grease on them because the meat is already fully cooked, but this will make things a little bit easier. So here's what the noodles look like with all that beef and that bacon. Beautiful. So then we're going to take our noodles. Once again, we're going to stir it around. Stir it around, baby. All that beef and that bacon, stir it around. Mix it in with your ramen noodles. Take your stirring fork and stir it around, baby. Stir those noodles around. So now you got these buttery noodles with bacon and beef. Oh yeah, those look nice. Those look very, very nice. I'll show you what it looks like when you get a little stirred up. Look at that. That's looking pretty nice. I feel like it's missing one more thing though. Oh yes, some cheese, YouTube. Some yes please cheese. Alright, so the next cooking video I make, I'll be doing a food hack with a market side sub. That'll be delicious. Ooh, excuse me. Now, up at Walmart, they didn't have sliced cheese, but they had it in cubes, in sticks, or in shredded. Honestly, they were pretty well stocked considering all the BS. So, I went and got some of this Kobe Monterey Jack cheese, the same flavor that I used in the recipe last time, just in a different form. It's not in slices, but we can make it into slices. So be very careful opening the cheese so you don't cut yourself. There we are. So now we're going to top off our ramen noodles with some cheese. Because yes, please. Oh wait. Nacho cheese Doritos. There's that crunch we all crave. We grab a handful of nacho cheese Doritos. Big old handful like that. I'm gonna crush them up on top of our noodles. Alright, that'll give us a nice little sprinkle of nacho cheese Doritos on top. That's enough. A little bit of flavor. Yeah, maybe a pinch more. Oh yeah. I have to wash my hands again after crushing up them Doritos on top. Look at that. That looks good, doesn't it? Ooh-wee. Oh, we knocked the phone over. Cheetos, Doritos, yeah. Adding chips, like I said, adding chips is optional. You can add your favorite chips if you want. Cheetos, Doritos, it don't matter. Last time I made the recipe, I didn't add Doritos to it, but this time I'm going to try it with Doritos and see how it tastes. Bet you it's going to taste twice as good. Now here's the best part of it, YouTube. On top of these nacho cheese Doritos, we're going to add some of that Kobe Monterey Jack cheese. And we're going to place it near the cutting board here. I'm going to scooch these noodles to the side, just like that. We don't want to cut ourselves. We want to cut the cheese, YouTube. Obvious fart joke. Excuse me. Now I'm going to take this block of cheese that we just cut, and we're going to cut it into smaller slices. That's what I'm saying. Like, if they don't got the sliced cheese, all they got shredded cheese, string cheese, or blocks of cheese, then you can work with what you got, you know. It could be worse. There are some places that are running low on supplies, man. So I really hope you're all staying safe out there in these crazy times. And if you like the King Cobra JFS cooking segments, subscribe for more. Because we doing it up, man. Cooking up some delicious ramen noodles. And you can tear it with your hands. It really doesn't matter at this point. But just for the sake of being nice and neat for the camera, we're going to cut up a couple slices of this here cheese into more manageable slices. I'll try to at least. And there we go. Both hands away from it as it goes down. Alright. So now we're going to take the cheese and we're going to break it up into chunks into our bowl of ramen noodles right on top of our Doritos. So, yeah, YouTube. It's getting tasty up in here. Now I want to take these slices of cheese that we cut, and we're going to literally sprinkle the cheese chunks on top of our nacho cheese Doritos for extra added cheesy goodness. Grab a sip of the Mountain Dew while we're doing it. Woohoo! Now you may be thinking to yourself, Cobra, is this a bit excessive for ramen noodles? I mean, to a bit, yes. I don't even want to know how much sodium and calories are going to be in this behemoth. But honestly, I don't care at this point. People wanted dank-ass ramen noodles, they're going to get it. Taking those cheese chunks and just tearing them up, man. Tearing them up into little chunks. Like I said, the chunks on your bacon, the chunks on your beef. Remember what I said? They don't gotta be neat or pretty. Just tear them up and put them in there. Same thing with your cheese. Your cheese chunks don't have to be terribly pretty. Just, you know, get into a nice thinner slice if you have the cube stuff like I have right here. Although much easier to spread with the slices, but then again, I'm not complaining. I'm really not complaining. There are areas of the country who have a harder time getting these kinds of things. So, all of you are stuck out in quarantine right now, bored out of your mind. This one's for you. This crazy monstrosities for all my fans, my subscribers. Mmm. Got a couple more slices here. That's a lot of cheese in there, but I don't think we're done. Yep, that pretty much tastes exactly like the sliced cheese. The only difference really is how it's formed. How it's formed in the package. This is gonna be breakfast for tomorrow as well when I wake up. So, that's good cheese though. And you know, maybe it's a bit more time consuming than I would have hoped, but that's all right. It's good cheese though. And tear it up into chunks, put it right on top of our Doritos. Beautiful. We'll set our fork to the side. Now we're going to take our bowl full of cheese and noodles. Before we do anything though, let's pick up our dishes. Put our cheese away. Now at this point, YouTube, you're thinking to yourself, what more could you put on it? Nothing really. I mean, this honestly is this is looking pretty tasty. Let's set our fork to the side here. And then look at all that cheese, baby. Oh yeah. So now we're gonna take it over to the microwave. We're gonna put it in the microwave until the cheese is all ooey gooey melted on top. Booyaka. So now we're going to periodically check on it. Start off with a 2-minute burst. And see how long it takes to get that cheese nice and melted. Now once you have that cheese melted, take it out of the microwave. Grab your stirring fork. Stir the cheese in with the noodles and eat it. I mean, it's really not that complicated. It's actually quite easy. And like I said, if you're stuck in quarantine, you could do worse. Set the camera up. There we go. Beautiful. See a little bit of that before I try the recipe out. I'll be right back. Gotta keep an eye on it, YouTube. The cheese should be just about there. We'll check it in another 2-minute burst or so. Because you don't want to over melt your cheese. When you're making a dish like this, you over melt the cheese. You know, the cheese gets all crispy and disgusting. No, you want the cheese to be gooey, ooey, delicious. Yeah, easiest way to make hamburger helper without. You buy a box of pasta versus a couple bags of ramen noodles. I guarantee you buying the ramen noodles is a little bit cheaper. And you know what? At this point, I don't even care. I'm gonna wash wash it down with some water because I don't need pop this late at night. I could if I wanted to, but a little something to counteract the alcohol a little bit, huh? That is just beautiful. Set the fork down at the side. Okay, YouTube. This is why you gotta watch it. Because there were like literally 29 seconds left on that second burst. And look at all that cheese on top, baby. Look how melted it is. The cheese action, the cheese melt is on point. Look at that cheese pull. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Fudge, yeah. So now we're going to take all that melted cheese right there and our chips and our beef and our bacon and our noodles. And now to really complete the dish, you want to mix the cheese around. Get as much of it off the sides as you can. You're gonna incorporate all that cheese into the noodles. Sure, this might take longer than seasoning a couple of ice cubes with ice cube seasoning and eating it, but really, you're gonna call seasoned ice cubes a snack? Get out of here with that. So yeah, now that we got all that mixed in there, beautiful, excellent. We got it mixed up. That looks done and ready to go. So now, we're gonna set the camera down, grab ourselves a cup of water. A little bit of lighting from the kitchen to give us some dramatic lighting here. Just enough lighting so we can actually see the cheese pull. Oh. Not only a shout out to healthy junk food, but shout out to Reckless Eating, Joey's World Tour, Dame Drops, Ken Domick, Report of the Week. Shout out to all the foodies out there on YouTube. And yeah, if you like these kinds of recipes, subscribe for more. I'll turn on one more light and see how that looks so we can at least get it just right. Just enough light to show us what we're looking at. Okay, beautiful. Alright, so Holy Toledo Batman, this bowl is hot tamales, fresh out of the microwave. Turn the man up, put it in on my legs there. Alright, let's see how I do. Oh, that cheese pull is ridiculous, YouTube. Yes. Oh. Hold on, let me get another bite. Oh man, that is so fucking delicious. Hoo hoo. I gotta let that cool off though, man. That is hot tamales, man. And shout out to Angry Grandpa and Pickle Boy. This is the kind of cooking Angry Grandpa would have done. Oh, that cheese though. Oh, YouTube, watch that cheese pull when they lift noodles. Oh, look at that. Yes. Oh, YouTube. YouTube. You don't even know. You don't even know. These noodles right here. Ooh. This makes my taste buds and my tummy happy. It's so freaking good. I just want to eat the whole thing in one sitting, but I'll save some for breakfast tomorrow when I wake up. And yeah, I gotta grab some more bites of this though. This is some good eats right here. That steam and that cheese. Oh, man. Honestly, this version tastes better than the last version I made.